Hey, what's up, guys? Can we get a quick sound check? Sound check. Mic check, mic check. Voice good. Alright, cool. Thanks, Cowboy. Let's go back to the tunes. Alright, hey, how's everybody doing today? Let me get one more quick mic check. Mic check good. Yep, we're good. Alright. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Hope the music's not too loud. I guess you guys will let me know if it is. Alright, so we're gonna start out with our typical Bitcoin here. Okay, so we got the 4 hour up here right now, and we've been looking at this this area the last couple of nights here where we've really been watching this. We broke out from this Gartley bat type harmonic, and now what we've done is we're basically back testing the previous highs, the C and the A high. So that C high was basically 59.4. Remember that critical area where we're like, if 59.4 breaks, we're good, especially if we backtest and hold. And now look what's happening. 59.4 broke, backtest as support, consolidate at support, and now we're proceeding to, we had a little bit of a run, sold off, squared up, backtest at support again, and now today, right now, this last 4 hour candle is the most kind of engulfing over the past, let's just call this ever since we broke out. Let's go over one more candle. The past almost 3 days, 2 days, 16 hours. This is the most bullish price action as far as candle goes that we've kind of seen, especially because the level where these candles closed above and kind of started to break out from, we're now above that second kind of critical high. So the next thing we need to do was break this A, which is what we're doing right now. So after that, you know, this A back here, it's almost the same as these ones. Okay, watch, I'll throw this C out here as well, and you can see we're above that, and then we have one more, which would have been this A, and we are above that. So that was the work that we had to do. Okay, a lot of hard work was put in right there. That was a battle. Like if you would have been watching, you know, low time frame algorithm bot type action there, that's, you know, that would have been the battle. It was won so far by the bulls. Seems like they're holding. You know, we had the daily closing, so everything's looking good for us right now. Again, we continue to put in higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low, and again, if we could grab it, it's too small. Too small. All right, anyways, another higher low at the arrow. Okay, so basically what we had said there is if this previous resistance flips and holds as support, we're gonna send it. Okay, so now let's clean that up. We know the message. Okay, message received. So your stop could have now been brought up to, you know, for now you can keep it here even at the wick. I'd probably keep it down here for now. Stop 57,380. Let this get a little bit away from price, get away from this level a little bit, and then you probably feel comfortable using this huge consolidation area as your eventual stop for a good little while. Okay, so later on when we come back down, this is going to be a really significant area, because look at all this, you know, resistance, 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 and now maybe support. So I'm assuming, you know, when we kind of come back down here, we're going to test this as support once, and it'll take a second time before you'll be able to break through that when the time comes. Okay. Okay, so basically now we need to get back into our measured move kind of situation and go back to our target area, right, where we were just basically targeting this low, targeting the highs. Let's go ahead and paste this up here, and this is basically how we're getting to this level up here, right? Our target area 69,000. This is a little shorter than that. You know what? It's probably because I probably took this all the way down to the wick low, huh? There's the wick low. Let's try it again. Just cloning it, bringing it up here, and let's see. Yeah, that was basically our measured move, 69,000, which again, you basically have this huge neckline structure, right, with this upsloping trend line that you were regarding as support on the way up, right? So you had this upsloping trend line, and then you proceeded to create this neckline, and you just butting up against it, and basically the bulls, you know, all the apes, all you guys aping in here, you guys are eating up all that supply. You could see the trend line started to get more vertical, right? So excuse me. So what happens next typically in this situation is you literally go parabolic, but we're not talking about, I mean, for some people this is going to seem pretty freaking parabolic, but I'm just talking about 4-hour parabola here. I'm not talking about like a monthly here, even though we're already on that. It's kind of more like one of these situations where let's see if we can find a good anchor point there. Anyways, yeah, so you just basically have this parabolic trend line that just decides to take off, and that parabola is irrelevant. It's just telling you that the shift in the trend from this sell-off right here on March 13th when you sold off, and you just kept making these lower highs, lower lows, and you finally found bottom March 25th. Ever since this sell-off, basically this trend line, sorry about that, this trend is just turning, right? The change in trend, that's all that parabola is trying to signify. Okay, so basically we have the momentum, box checked, right? We have the momentum, we have the harmonic, we have a Gartley. A Gartley usually sends shit. It doesn't mess around, okay? Especially, a Gartley with this other kind of larger structure. It's like a, pattern within a pattern, right? So those are, even though the larger structure here isn't a harmonic, it's still a Bukowski pattern where you have this higher low kind of double bottoming type of situation, even an inverse head and shoulders ish type of. Let me clean up the harmonic for you. Maybe it'll. Okay, so if this bottom here was our low, right? You could have had your left shoulder here on the inverse, and you could have had your right shoulder over here, right? So some people, right, they're not even seeing the harmonic. They're just seeing this as maybe a head and shoulders pattern with a neckline being where those green lines are, the neckline being here at like basically 60K. So you have traders playing that, but it's okay because that's going to help us gain more buyers, right? More apes. That's what we need. Okay, so harmonic wise, let's find our swing high, discernible swing high anchor point March 13th when price was at the all-time high $61,844. We have yet to break that on the perps, at least on the, what are we on, Bitcoin USDT right here. Okay, so XA B retracement back up in price, then we put in the C higher low, right? And now we're targeting at least the 1-2. Okay, so here's your 1272. This is going to happen first, okay? You're going to break out, you're going to sweep the highs, you're going to hit the 1272. This is definitely going to be an area, of interest here because look, we got this previous high here and we got this 1272. So between those levels, you're going to find something. You're gonna you have more work to do, right? So for one, you gotta first breach the level. So by breaching this first bottom of this box, that's when you sweep the high finally, okay? So this is when you break out and you have all-time high. Typically when you break out initially, you're gonna have this initial impulse, just like right here, okay? See this initial impulse? So you're gonna have this wham and then a second candle wham, but you might not get all the way to the 1272. Then you'll probably sell off pretty aggressively and you'll back test the level. There's our confirmation again, like you got right here. Traders are confirming. Once we get this confirmation, again, we'll look for something like 4-hour hidden bullish divergence. At that moment, when you swing here and turn, that's when you bring up this stop, okay? But right here, we need to put in some sort of swing low failure pattern and put it in at a critical fib level. And so the fib would have came from like this low, this low that we had last night to this high, and you would have fibbed down to like right there 50% 618 type levels, right? We'll worry about that later, but that's just something that you probably want to see have happen, okay? So we backtest the level, which was once the previous high. That previous high again being, what was this? 61,844. So we need a break and hold on that level. So we'll make that level like purple or something. Okay, so that's our next critical level. Does it mean we're taking profit there? I mean, can you? Sure, you can pull a little bit off. It never hurts. You never know what's gonna happen, right? But again, I don't think it's over. Okay, so we still have. This could be a valid leg. As soon as we hit the 1272, this butterfly goes live. Okay, so don't joke around right here. But if anything, just move the stop up right here. Okay, just if anything. Okay, so we see a little sell off. We hold. We backtest previous area on the X. We sell off a little bit. Look at what that would be. If you're just looking at the purple, Harmonic, look from the C low here. If we were to retrace a little bit from the C low, find where it wants to be, right there, to this D high 1272, you see a sell-off here. I mean, you could sell off to the 382, even the 50. So I mean, you gotta be careful at that level. That's what I'm talking about. We could backtest this green again. Okay, so I don't know, we just got to keep that in mind. But again, if our entry was down here and we backtest up here as support and run again, is that something we should be concerned with? You know what I mean? You started down here, remember? Your stop actually started right here. So for a stop that's here, and all I'm telling you is that you may run up here and backtest this level. You may only get to this level, but one of these levels is where you're going to find some reaction, right? You would imagine that would happen. Okay, so we get a small little retrace, nothing to write home about, and we run up again. When we run again, this is when we start targeting real targets here. Okay, 1414 again. This is not going to be a joke. People are going to pull some off here. 67,000. It's going to be a new all-time high. It's going to be a round number. You know what? Maybe we'll pull it up here in a second, but I haven't looked at it in a few weeks because it's a high time frame chart. I don't need to look at it every second, right? But the DXY is approaching some interesting levels. Okay, so you know, the DXY starts pumping, Bitcoin's at a 1414, traders start taking profit, right? Or just, you know, at that point your stop should be here. By the time we reclaim the 1414, maybe we bounce again, you could bring your stop up to that previous high, use that as support, right? You just got to keep finding these levels that flip. As you see on the way up, as these lows get put in, you just try and keep using those as best as you can. Okay, so look, that 1414 happens, and so, okay, so a lot of times you'll see stuff like this where you put in a high, right? You put in a high, you hit the 1414, you sell off a little bit, but you end up putting in a slightly higher high, and this is how you get to the 1618. The 1618 golden mean ratio at our 69,000 target. This is going to be, again, another really significant 1618, it's like right here. It's going to be another significant level. It's that measured move. It's just a lot of stuff is going on here. So I'm pretty sure this fib, I think the fib has it a little higher. Sometimes a harmonic writes it different depending on where the anchor points are. No, that's it right there. 68,900. Yeah, that's 69. Okay. So what we see happen here is we now hit the 1618 golden mean ratio, 69,000. Okay. But even again, Bitcoin fakes us again, just like BNB did some bullshit like this, right? Fakes us again here, and it still puts in that slightly higher high. Okay. This is the blow off. This is what we're waiting for to short. And what we're ideally going to be looking for at this point is probably 1, 2, 3x bearish, 3x bearish divergence up there at those top high levels. Let me repaint that for you. Because at that point we would not only have seen the 1618 golden mean ratio, we would have hit the harmonic completion zone, and we would have had the optimal entry area that I would say let's watch for that. Okay, so where does that put us now? In order to make all that shit happen, we're probably going to end up seeing this could see 73,000. Okay, guys, so let's be very careful. The thing is, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, right? So $70,000 per Bitcoin monster just stumbles a little bit, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt bad. Okay, so some point here, I mean, I do it every time. Sometimes I get bit, but most of the times I don't. I'm gonna short this thing again. You guys can ride with me or not, it's on you. do what you want. But if anything, you're right. You just worry about this. Just take profits. If you're not comfortable in the shorts, just wait. When we close the short, we'll be saying something like, "Hey, we're closing short, looking to re-enter long. Get back on board." You know what I mean? Take a little hiatus for 10 days or so. Take a breather. You know, it'll be good for you. So take some profit here. You don't have to stress that you didn't sell, that you didn't short the top. It runs up on you. You don't have to worry about that, right? All you're going to worry about is locking in some gains. Take a little breather. Some of the rest of us degens will chop it up in the short, and we'll holler at you when it's time to flip long, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. So you don't have to be in a trade 100% of the time. In fact, that's actually really, really bad. Again, I'll go back to our poker analogy. Imagine playing in the World Series of Poker and you bought in for 10K, right? And you sit there, and again, is it a one hand, first one to win a hand wins the bracelet? No, it's whoever withstands thousands of, you know, competitors, right? Again, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So if you were in the WSOP like that, would you be playing every single poker hand that you were dealt? Every two pair of cards? Would you play every hand? No. So you don't need to take every trade, okay? So don't feel bad about it. It's a good thing, okay? So what's happening here? If we zoom in, looks like we are just doing some low time frame stuff here, okay? So pay attention. Let me clean this up a little for you guys, and let's see if we could see this. You know what, even better, let's just go to the 60 real quick, and I think we could get a clear picture on kind of what's happening here. So we have this upsloping trend line support, okay? So I'll leave that there. It's a good line. I'll leave that there. We'll get rid of this one. We'll tighten up this bottom one. That's from the bottom side of that harmonic. So right now we're just concerned with this top line, which is the higher part of these harmonics, right? The tops. So we're above those tops, and if you look at this on a low time frame, we have similar structure here, okay? So this is how we're going to start to catapult our way out of these levels. So what I'm looking at here on the low time frame, this is why I've been rallying you guys up the last couple days, because I've been watching this develop. But basically, you know, what did I post a couple hours ago? Is just basically like, look, it's your last chance to buy under 60K until we decide to short 72 or something crazy, right? So, but even then, it goes up from here to 72 and all the way back down and under 60K again. You know, that could still take some time once again. So that's why I tell people it's going to be a while before you see price back in the 50s, I would imagine. But it'll come, don't you worry. All right, so what I'm doing here is we got this low in price, and now we have a higher low, and this is like a slightly even higher low in this wick. You can see that by, if I grab the bottom of this, if I grab the bottom of this wick on, or this candle close on April 11th, you could see how that other wick there on April 12th never got back below that level or was even able to touch it, okay? So again, that's what we've been trying to identify here, is that even on a low time frame structure, we have a trend line that's starting to develop. This mouse just doesn't like those. Okay, so we got this trend line in development here. We're holding it. We're breaking above the necklines of those harmonics, and now check it out. So we got this almost like a 3 rising valleys, 1, 2, 3, where you got to really open this first one because it was really kind of tight here. But here's what I'm kind of looking at, okay? So if I were a valley here and I did something like this, okay, we'll make it yellow so you guys can see it. Okay, so if I was a valley and I painted myself like that, see how this basin of the valley, its bottom point here is at basically 59,200, right? So when we move over to the next valley, and we can see here, this valley was much wider, right? But still, even though it was wider in price, or just in duration, I guess you would say, right? its overall basin put in a higher low. And now our third basically valley here is painting. Okay, it's not even done painting yet, it's still in development. But if we can hold it, even if you bring this down to these areas here, you can see here how we have three rising valleys, right, with three higher lows, three higher valleys, trend line structure, neckline. Even now let's make a new neckline of the valleys, right? You could even break it, you could bring it up here. Really don't know how it does it. Okay, so something like this. Okay, so here's this structure starting to develop. So again, with our trading strategy, rule number one is we need pattern development. We need structure. We have to be able to anchor off of something in order to fib. Okay, so now we're going to look for a low time frame harmonic. Well, first I'll do a measured move. Let's go in order here. So a measured move was we'll take these two candle closes here where price trader settled up at 58,600. We'll take that to our neckline, and we'll just clone it and we'll bring it up here. Okay, this is going to be how we get into that 63 area probably. Yep, see, that's that 63,000 area that a lot of you guys are like, look, is the target 63 or is the target fucking 69? And it's like, it's kind of both. We first got to get to 63, and then we got work to do there, and then we got to flip and back, flip it as support, break the resistance, break through it. It's not really any resistance, it's just overhead blue sky breakout. There's nothing there except a fib, right? And it's probably just, again, let's fib. So it's a 1414, see? So you got a 1414 on a low time frame, okay? So we'll paint, not only did you have the measured move of the structure, but you have the 1414, okay? So we're gonna paint the 1414, we'll paint it blue. So you see how we have two things happening right there at 63,000? Okay, well, watch this now. Something else had to have happened there. We are watching something else for sure happen there. It's gotta be this larger structure here where the all-time high was. Nope, that's not the all-time high. What is that? Okay, let's check it though. This is still structure here. These are valid points here. Let's fib from this high. I just remember something else happened at that same level. What is it? 1618. Golden mean ratio from this structure. Okay, so what does that tell us? That there's like a, okay, so watch, if we have a 1618 there, that means we had a XABCD harmonic here. Okay, so we have an X, some kind of, I hate when this stupid magnet's on A. No, we didn't like this one. Remember, we talked about this one on Bitcoin. It had a higher stupid high. Okay, so no structure, no harmonic on that one, but the low time frame has it. Watch. Okay, so let's paint this real quick before we delete it. Let's paint this 1618. So what I'm doing here is I'm finding an area where a bunch of things are happening. Okay, so we had a measured move, we had a low time frame 1618, we had a high time frame 1618. Okay, so we have three things coinciding in a level. Okay, that's all we're doing. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it does matter where they came from, but that's all it is. Okay, so next let's go, we're here on the 1 hour. Okay, that's why this is messing with us a little bit. We've been on the daily and the 4 hours so much, which we should be. Okay, so X, A, B, it was a little high, 786 was the close, C, and then 1618. Okay, so here's the 1414, see it, 1414, and then 1618 is probably just a hair above it. Okay, so let's draw another, we'll paint another line. So 1618, that's this harmonic here. I mean, that's this Fibonacci here. 1618 up there. Okay, so just so you guys are seeing where that's coming from, let's paint another line here. This price is 63,400. Okay, so if I were a small low time frame structure, what might I see have happened here? Okay, so we're down here still. Okay, we still got some work to do. You don't think that by the time we get from 6,000 to 63.5 that we might just need a little bit of a pullback here? You know, something like this. We run up in here, we break out, we hold this, we break out, we hold this, break out, hold this, and we get up here, and then maybe we just sell off back here and we back test this previous X, and then we run again. Okay, that's what this area could do to us here. Okay, so that's why it's an area of interest. We don't always break them the first time. Okay, so if you wanted to, you could don't take your whole trade off, right? Because you never know, but you could start to just say take 20-30% of your stack, layer it out here, boom 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 boom, take some profit. You end up getting a small pullback, your overall trade is still in profit, you're fine, and then all you did was you had a potential area to add on a hidden bullish divergence and compound some gains. That's why the level's highlighted. It does not mean we're exiting the entire position. It just means it's the next area of interest for us. We have to take these things one step at a time, methodically. Look at all the structure that has to develop in order to move up from one range area to another. Okay, so methodically, let's get here, and then if we can get here, fail, but then hold a back above it, that's how we could then see 69. Okay, but like I said, one step at a time. So let's go back to the 4 hour, see where that level looks on the 4 hour. So look, we're sweeping the highs, right? Sweep the highs, makes sense. We sweep the highs. That's how we do it. We have to figure out a way to do it. We had to create an argument for the bulls. We had to create a reason for apes to ape other than just being apes, right? So some people are methodical apes, so we needed their help too. So everybody's on board. That's the kind of thing you need to do to break all-time highs, you know. And again, look, this is our rule of kind of 3 here, where we put in the all-time high, we test it 1, 2, 3, and that's when, you know, a lot of times you're going to shoot this level. I'm not going to be surprised at all if Bitcoin's up here over the next, you know, I mean, geez, this is a 4 hour chart. This could take anywhere from, you know, 3 to 4 days to a week, week and a half. But either way, I mean, I know it's going to feel like an eternity, but that's not a long time. Okay, when Bitcoin breaks that previous all-time high at 61,844 over here, it's gonna move. Okay, you're gonna get some nasty green candles. If somebody's shorting right here, they're gonna pay for it. Okay, so let's just hold that line. Hold that line. Ethereum, same thing. Okay, exact same situation. This is I'm exiting here on ETH different than I am on Bitcoin. Again, just hoping for a pullback. If not, well, I still got 30% in, but you know, I like, again, there was a lot of things just adding up at this level. Okay, so when we start fibbing this level, we fib from this harmonic, we take the X high, gosh, that's fib. We take the C high, excuse me. We're gonna do it twice. All right, hold on, I'm taking this magnet off. Done. Okay. Okay. We take this C high anchor point and we fib to the D low. Okay, the 1618 is right in that zone. We're gonna do that again from the larger A high to that same D low. So we're using this D low twice. And look up here, we have 1414 and 1272 aligning. We have 1414, 1618, and we have 1618 on the top of that block. Okay, that is why it's concerning. Okay, after that you have this next area up here where you have the 2618s. This is that 2500 area. Okay, so ultimately we want 2500. That extra 30% that we're not taking off the table is aiming here, okay? Now, here's what I'm hoping. Sometimes this bites me, sometimes, you guys are welcome to hold the whole thing all the way to here. I approve of holding your bag from the entry of the Gartley all the way to 2,500. It's approved, okay? But what I'm thinking from where I'm sitting here is ETH rejects again. Not crazy, nothing crazy, okay? We run up here, we get into these levels, okay, and we hit this level, and I don't know, we do something like this, okay, maybe a BART, but immediately it's going to get bought right back up. So as soon as you start layering these take profits here, if you decide to pull a few off and you pull these off the table, once you start taking them off, layer them back in, okay? Layer them back in at this previous SR level, because sometimes this is just a wick, it just wham and it's out of there, just like this one right here, wham, square up, out, okay? So this would have been you layering out, and then layering back in at the square up. You catch that wick and then you get to ride it again, okay? It's risky play, you got to be paying attention. So if you're low leverage, you don't want to do all that mess, you'd rather just hold your nice comfy position, I approve of that just the same, okay? So you don't feel like you have to pull off the table right here. Just trail that stop, okay? Use that stop, use this previous area. So what I mean is, use this once we get up here into the green box, okay? Use the stop, bring it up to the wicks, okay? That's it. That could be your whole next 12 hours. Anyways, after that, we see 2,500, okay? This is Litecoin. Looks like, again, you're getting some decent price action here. Litecoin, we're looking for that crazy 1272, remember? Where we had a 1272 at $272. So if we get that, we're breaking out above the high. I'm pretty sure that's all-time high. Somebody might want to check me on that. Okay, so basically this previous X here, we're above it. Okay, so let's mark this level. We'll put a yellow line here or something so we could see it. Okay, so we're at that level, but we're above it, okay? So we're doing our job. If Bitcoin holds, Ethereum holds, they both run, they'll pull Litecoin up and over this little level, okay? So Litecoin, basically just from right here, you're gonna go up and hit the 1272 at 272. So from 250 to 272 on a low time frame. See if you could pull off a little trade there. You have to bring your stop up 3 to 1. It would be right there below the previous wicks. That's a little move for you, okay? So you're talking 10% move, okay? 10% move on Litecoin, 3x leverage, 30%, okay? That's what you got in store. Incoming, pretty much lock that shit in. I mean, if for some God forbidden reason you fail here, sorry. Jeez, stupid. Sorry, guys. Okay, I don't know why, but it just does not want to leave us alone. Alright, anyways. If for some reason what I was saying that you fail this level, okay, all you're gonna do is hit this one, and then you're gonna go again. So sometimes when I'm looking at situations like this, I don't like the stop loss per se. Instead of putting the stop, I'd rather just continue to layer, you know what I mean? So I would just, me personally, you guys can do either one of these strategies. The stop and then just re-enter at the bottom, or the no stop, re-layer. Stop would then be much lower level, right? At this point, that stop would have to be down here below these previous lows. Now obviously that is not an equitable trade to take profit anymore at 272 if you're gonna have a wide stop like that. But the thing is as you would be grabbing more of these, your dollar cost average would lower. This is not the best strategy here, but this would make your stop, you know, potentially, say you fill all that, you would get back 3-1 as long as you filled more. Okay, you see how that could kind of happen? Again, those are a little more advanced type of plays. The conservative trader would have never exited at all, right? They would have stayed in this original inverse head and shoulder long that we entered, and you would have just been methodically moving these stops best as you can. Or you just have your stop down here at break even, and you'd say, hey, I'm either going to stop out at break even because this thing's just going to dump in the middle of the night on everyone, or I'm going to hit my target. And I'm not even going to play with stops because all I'm going to do is move my stop from where it started to entry, and then it just stays there. So all this choppiness up here is not going to mess with your stop. So that, again, you have, there's method to your madness. And the reason there's so many strategies is because everyone's on a different position size and a different amount of leverage. So, you know what I mean? Like, you have to play the strategy that aligns with the way you entered the position. You can't mix and match the one that, you can't cherry pick, you know what I mean? You can't take the most conservative strategy with the highest leverage. That won't work, right? Recipe for disaster. So conservative position, you could have a conservative strategy, you know, and vice versa. So just think about it like that. But I would pretty much say we're going to be talking about the 1272 at 272, and it's going to be kind of cool. Is that the end of the show? No, it's just the next area of interest. Okay, guys? So from there, we move along. The show must go on. We keep going. We hit the 1414. The 1414, we now went from 272 to 285. And from there, we'll take another one. I'll put that back for you guys if you want to see 272. It's kind of marked, but okay. And then finally, we get the 1618. And if Bitcoin's going to give you 73, 69, 73, like we talked about, Litecoin should give you 300. Look at that, psychological 300, 1618. But again, be careful. We're gonna watch out here. We're gonna watch Bitcoin again, and we're gonna probably be shorting above this level. And again, if you're low leverage, you get in on a short at 300. I don't know. Again, I'm gonna take it, and I'm gonna backtest these levels here. Probably something like this. Okay. So that's just what I do. All right, moving along. XRP took off. Okay, so last time we kind of looked at XRP, we were looking at this, we had basically here a measured move of a structure. Sorry, that measured move's different. Watch, let me show you why. So measure move the structure, we go from the low to the high point. Okay, you see how I went to this high point over here? 30% move, we clone it, we bring it up here. Might have even cut a little short on that. Yeah, just even better, right? Either way, you hit the measured move, went through it, back tested, and are now holding it as support. What else could have happened though? We had to be mindful. This could have ended up down here. This pattern here, this symmetrical type triangle, looks sometimes like a bull flag, but I'll show you plenty of times where this thing breaks to the downside. So just note that when you see this development. So anyways, what do we have here? We're just now breaking up and creating another kind of SR flip of $1.35, and we're holding at $1.43 kind of. So you're starting to sell off a little bit here, but it looks like you might have even double topped. So from this level up here, we're definitely losing momentum. Okay, we're starting to lose that momentum. Not something you typically want to see, right? You like to have momentum going with you. Again, you're losing momentum on the relative strength as well. So in a bearish diverging type of manner. So what we're looking for next is a couple things need to happen here. price, if price fails right there, that's really bad, because that means your next equal high, basically, see from this high to where you are, you put in a nice peak of positive momentum. Even though it was shorter than the previous, it was still a good run. But if this fails here, you couldn't even muster any positive momentum. And you'll see this, okay? And what would that mean? That would mean you also put a 3x bearish divergence on the RSI. So 3x, 3x. So what needs to happen here for bulls is they need to invalidate this, okay? They need to push momentum up and make a new high on this positive momentum. Are they going to do that? I mean, XRP would probably have to go back to $2 or so. So what's more likely is they push price up, but the positive momentum once again fails to put in a higher level. So you kind of come up and you wane off again, right? So if that's the case, you would be diverging again, 3x bearish divergence. In order to paint that little bit of positiveness, price would have came up one more little time, right? So that's where on price you would have had this first high, this second high, and this third higher high, giving you 3x divergence on the MACD, 3x divergence, right? Bearish divergence. On the RSI, same thing. The RSI could run up as long as it doesn't go back above this level and invalidate that. It could technically almost make an equal high, just a slightly lower high on the RSI, and that would put you up at that where that MACD needs to create a little momentum too, right? You run up but you fail. And again, that would be how you're creating your divergence, 3x bearish divergence, RSI and MACD, coinciding variables to your kind of just topping out price action structure, right? You'd be just looking for just this rounding action in price where, you know, things are just beginning to fail, right? And that's what we'd kind of be looking for, to maybe look for a short on this. You'd also be looking for a potential kind of break of this trend line here. You come and touch it, hold it maybe a little bit, but fail, backtest it, fail again, backtest, fail here as well. That's how you end up with kind of that left shoulder, head, right shoulder type of larger structure, finding your way, you know, way back down here at these previous prices that need to be back tested still. Okay, so XRP for now, I wouldn't really mess with this anymore. You've kind of exhausted the tank. Yeah, you might have a little bit more in you, but you're playing with fire. Okay, FTT looks like you're running again here. What did we see? Potential area. Okay, so again, watch this. We gotta watch out here. This is what I was talking about, where you continue to put in these lower levels of positive momentum, where you just continue to sell off. Not to sell off, but price is putting in higher highs as the momentum is putting in lower highs 3 times on their, especially on their own. See how there's a little bit of red in between these? That's what you want to see. You want them to be on individual islands. See how on this one it was like the same island here? You had a different island here, but look at how defined the difference is between this and this, okay? This is much more defined divergence. Now, tail end RSI, you're almost getting 3x. You got a high, a lower high on your relative strength, lower levels, and even lower levels of relative strength. Meanwhile, price continues to paint higher highs. If this trend remains, this is setting up for failure. It's setting up also to find itself failing around the time maybe Bitcoin. No, this will fail sooner. But yeah, things are starting to run course here, okay? A lot of things are hitting targets. Bitcoin, I mean, we hit 70K. I'm going to just start scaling in. I don't really care what anybody says. Probably going to be low leverage, you know, 3x, it's at 68, 69k, 3x. If we go up to 70, bump the leverage up to 4x, add a little more. We go up to 71, go to 5x, add a little more, go up to 72. Now we're at maybe the 6x where I wanted to be anyways. You just see how I kind of gradually worked my way there as I was both throttling the leverage and adding a little bit as more of those layered orders were being hit. But never did I, get crazy with it. By the time I hit 73, I was only at 6x leverage. My liquidation would have been over 100k, right? So nothing crazy. If and when it keeps running from 73 and it runs to 75, 76, 77, yeah, I'm in a slightly underwater position, but I have a lot of room to readjust, reevaluate. I don't really feel like I'm going to need to. Again, I make a plan, I stick to it. I'll find a stop at that point. Once we put in a kind of a swing high failure, we'll be looking for that to use as a anchor point and a potential stop above. Okay, but again, we need that data. We don't know if we're going to reverse at 68.5 or at 73.5. Okay, too early to call. But all I was really getting at is that things are starting to get exhausted. Okay, but just be aware. For example, Sol. Okay, so you had the larger structure, you broke out, you created the new high, back tested the high, then on the low time frame we zoom in, we created the structure again, we broke up. This is where you get that, what I'm talking about. Okay, so I don't like that wick, but let's say that wick wasn't there. Sometimes that wick isn't there. We could really do this really good here. X, A, usually you get to be like that, 786, C, and then 1618. It would have been like right here. 1618, you sold off. Wham. What did you do? Back test the X. That's that play that I'm talking about. Okay, you're not taking the price to zero, but at a 1618, you have a severe reaction, you have a square up, you have a back test, okay, and then immediately it gets bought back up and you run. So if you could do it right and you could scale out a little bit and you could layer it back in at the previous support resistance areas here, you can get a wick in, get a fill, get bought up quick and get out of there. And then that you have just even more coins running, right? But that'll come in time. So this is what we're talking about. You go parabolic outside of this structure breakout. There's things like, okay, Bitcoin is basically, if I was to say where's Bitcoin right now, I would say it's right about here. Okay, guys? So we still have this breakout, make a new all-time high, back test the all-time high, and then we could run, and then we start back testing levels, okay? But we're gonna run, and we're gonna run up here to like 68, 69, 70 area, okay? So we have this parabolic breakout, and then we fail, and we back test. You see how you failed the parabola, but then you ran up and you back tested it. Then you sell off, and then you oftentimes back test it again somewhere up here, okay? And that looks like what you're almost trying to do. Oops, that looks like what you're almost trying to do here is look to find this again somewhere, okay? So price comes up, finds that again. This is where you start, I don't know, somewhere you're gonna develop some structure here, okay? And that's where we could look to maybe enter a short, but right now I would say this is just put it on the burner, check back later asset, unless you still have a position from a long that you just never closed, right? Like just diamond hand holding it. That's the only really time you should be in something at this very second, is if you were already in from previous levels, okay? Let some things play out. Let's get some structure to develop. Let's paint a pattern here. Let's look for some coinciding variables. Let's find a pattern, bearish pattern on Bitcoin on the macro scale as well. Let's align there. Then we start, flipping our flipping short across the board. Okay. Radium. See, radium has not played out yet. So radium, it's above this previous level, which is good. Okay, see, we broke this previous first area, box 1 check. Now box 2, we're fighting box 2. We got to check that breakout and hold, and then we could look to sweep the highs. So if you can get above 1175 here and hold it, hold 1175. So you're trying to hold this area back here, okay? You got to hold 1175. Then you could look to go to those highs, and you're going to sweep these previous highs. One, remember, touch point 1, touch point 2. This would be touch point 3. You might have a small little drawback here, but ultimately you should sweep them, back test them, and go, okay? So this is your break, hook, go. Again, we're going to look for it twice. Break, hook, go. So 2 of them, okay? 2, maybe even a third one. Break, hook, go. So 3 times maybe if you get it on radium. But right now you need to hold above the yellow line, which is kind of this entry level on the position, and you need to get above 1175, and you need to hold it, okay, convincingly on radium coin. Radium. Okay, next, let's see here. Okay, this is Serum, I think it's SRM. Serum, you basically had this big inverse head and shoulders, neckline in yellow. You got to break, hook, and go. See, there's our pattern, boys. Right there. Look at that. Perfect. Neckline. See this neckline? Where it's coming from? I'll even bring it up just a hair. Let's call it right there. Okay, so we got this neckline. Break, back test, hook, and then bullish engulf and go. Indecision, doji. Another engulfing. This was green at some point, hit a target, okay? What was that target? Previous high, swept the high, sold off. Back test previous areas that were once resistance. Once was resistance, is now support. Looking for, again, potential break, hook, and go, again, of another level up here. But I would say, again, something like this here, yeah, can you have another target? Sure. But there's stuff that's, I would have rather you taken this here or here. You're kind of in this no man's land. If anything, wait for the all-time high. Just know if you take it here that you're in the middle of the range and you could hit the bottom, okay? Just know that. But if you take it here, you're getting more R if this does run up, break, hook, and go, right? You would be obviously a better entry here than here, but this is more confirmed. This is a less risk, higher reward. This is kind of a little more risky, even higher reward, but more risk, right? So this is more of a gambler. This is guy's more conservative. So A is the gambler, and then over here you got B, conservative. All right, guys, that is SRM. If you get that break, you'll look to the fib previous high. Sorry, previous high at basically $8.30, and you'd be looking for that 1618 up at $10.50, ideally at kind of psychological $10, $10.50 area. Something up there is where if you can break, hook, and go and hold a couple times, and Bitcoin doesn't absolutely just shit the fan, then you know I think you'll be in on something, right? Okay, so let's see. Let's check on. We have a request in the chat for AAVE USD Tether. Let's get an update there. 4 hour looks like we're still sending. Okay, remember we painted this wick last night just to fuck with everybody? Yeah. All right, so we're going there. Don't get me wrong. We painted it for a reason. Okay, so what do we got to do? We got to break this level. Critical 440 basically level. It's basically this measured move kind of neckline. We could even get a little more conservative here. We could call this a neck. We could even say we're at it. Okay, guys. I would not be surprised if it was even there. Why? Because look at these areas where see this candle high close here. Let me tighten this up. Candle high close right there. and then you have it again like right here. Okay, that's why I was a little higher. That one. Okay, that's what I was looking at to create that neckline. Okay, traders went up, failed. Okay, traders pushed price up, failed. Okay, now we're back. Okay, we're back. Rule of three. What happens on the third time? 3 strikes, you're out. Resistance. Why? Because the supply is being eaten up. Okay, look at this. We're gobbling up supply, gobbling it up, and now we're just gonna butt on that level and eat it, and then we're gonna break through it. Then we gotta look for the hook, and then we can go. Okay, so break, hook, and go on AVE. That's how we get to our target areas. What's our target area? Measured move of the structure. Let's fine tune this. It's always about fine tuning. Okay, we're never fixed. Why? Because price action is continually evolving. If it was already fixed, we would already know if we hit our target or not, right? We'd be like, oh, cash it in. I could already start spending that money I'm gonna hit in 3 days because I know price is fixed to that level. Well, that's not the case, obviously, right? So we continually re-evolve, reevaluate. Okay, so let's bring this target in 540. If we get that, we're basically squaring up on this level up here. Okay, so again, we'll probably find resistance there because look, 1, that would be 2. Remember, we said we need 3 typically. So if I were 3, how do I, what does this kind of look like? So sorry, this would look, price action would kind of chop here, hold this level, paint a head and shoulders right there, and then ape out of it, run up, back test it, run up, back test that, run up, hit it. Okay, so now you've hit the all-time high. You probably wick above it, clear it, but you're gonna fail. You're gonna sell back off again, and again you're gonna paint another head and shoulders. See how you had a head and shoulders here? People try to short it, wrecked. Okay, you're gonna paint another one here. 1, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. People are gonna short it right here, wrecked. Okay, so we'll break again, another hook, and go. All right, look for that on AVE. Couple of traps being set in the works. Eventual targets 660, 704, 763. At some point up there, we'll reconsider. We'll just have to evaluate. Okay, we have to see where Bitcoin's at. You might only get the second one. Maybe Bitcoin's already at 70K by the time AVE gets to 660, and that's it. It's a wrap. You know what I mean? When Bitcoin rolls over at 70, let's just call it 70 for now. If and when Bitcoin rolls over at 70, all your USDT altcoins are going to get wrecked. The only hope you have is on the BTC alt pairs for anything to the upside at that point. For me, I'm going to be shorting, so I'm not really going to be in too many longs other than a couple of those BTC alt pairs. But even that, I can't guarantee how price is going to react. Everything might dump, and then need to find some sideways Bitcoin action somewhere for then they start to pump finally. But eventually people are going to rotate money from Bitcoin into other assets. Are those assets altcoins? Maybe. Are those assets stocks? Maybe. Are those assets other things? Yeah, we don't really know, but it's just a shift in money. Okay, it just funds move from targets to other targets. Okay, so let's check on Bitcoin. I don't even know what's happening here. It looks like you guys are freaking apes. Yeah, 60,600. Looks like you're pushing price up as we speak. Check Ethereum, aping above the level. Litecoin, aping above the level. XRP, of course, dog shit. FTT aping, everything apes except XRP. So that's how it should be. Everything is right. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I guess that's it for tonight. Gonna have some dinner here. So I'll be in the Discord and the chat here in a while. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream, and see you guys tomorrow.